What's up? What's up? Welcome to the world, Maldini. Welcome to your Capaldo. Let's talk about Salzburg. 1. Atlético de Madrid. 4. Which is one of the matches where there was the least at stake because Atletico practically had their spot in the top 8 secured. So if you've seen other matches or you've been in the multi, I'll fill you in on it in about 10 minutes. What did that comfortable victory without difficulties from Simeone's team in Austrian lands give us? Let's get to it. Well, as I was saying, the victory was set on track in the 4th minute with a goal from Giuliano Simeone. Cholo Simeone's team practically didn't suffer at any moment. In the minute after it was 0-2, Salzburg improved. But by then, Atletico was already managing a very comfortable 0-2 lead for Griezmann, De Paul, and company. And what I'm telling you, it even got to 0-4 without much difficulty. Then Dagim scored a good goal, a nice goal from the 19-year-old kid. It added a bit of makeup to what was turning into a rout. A nice goal from the 19-year-old kid who's already being talked about by several Premier League teams, and we'll see what he has left at Salzburg. I imagine that finishing this season, he will definitely do. There are others who haven't, like Bajcetic, who came on in the 84th minute, and there's talk of 2 possible destinations. For the player who was just recently part of the Spanish U21 team. Stefan Bajcetic is being linked to Las Palmas, where I see myself fitting in best, in my opinion, and for Getafe under Bordalas, who every year tries to sign or get a midfielder on loan. Playmaker, as you might remember back in the day, Llorente from Benfica or Ilaís Arriba, who also played for the blue team. Going back to what this has been, Salzburg, 1. Atletico 4, let's go with. The 11, watch out, it's blocking me here. It's not a plan, it's not a plan. Now, we have it. Let's see what each team has come out with. Let's start with the home team. Slager, who hasn't been able to do much about the goals, especially the one from Marcos Llorente, the 4th. I think he could have done a bit more. Dedic on the right back, who really went hard at Samulino. Terzic on the left as left back blank. And Baidu, that having the ball and moving it a bit when Atletico was falling back. Good. But defensive security, that's what they need to provide. 2 center-backs precisely haven't delivered at any moment. It's a 4-4-2, as we can see here with Dinamo Bu and Capaldo. Of the most established players and champions is Capaldo. Of the ones who are most established at the champions level, I think Capaldo, the rest are very young. Very intermittent, almost disappeared. Geo on the right, he also tried quite a bit in one moment when Oblak came out in that area. Dagim and Nene Arriba. Atletico has come out with Oblak in goal. Marcos Llorente, Lenormand, Lenglet, and Azpilicueta, forming a sort of 4-4-2 as we are seeing. With Koke and De Paul at the same level, and Griezmann always behind Julian Alvarez, but in many occasions as well. Griezmann dropping deeper, De Paul advancing, and Koke positioning. As the only pivot, Azpilicueta was closing in more, Lenglet stayed in the center, and Llorente was pushing forward. Many times it was often a 3-1. 2 wing-backs, 2 attacking midfielders. And Julian practically as a winger, because Llorente pushed forward a lot, but they also alternated this, especially without the ball. It was a 4-4-2, very compact. With De Paul here at the same level as Koke, Julian, Griezmann, and Julian Alvarez. Griezmann. I want to talk about him because now let's talk about the match of Julian Simeone. But about Griezmann, for example, that player, a guy of that quality, at his age, I'm not going to say he's already past it, because he's not, because he still has a lot of football left in his boots. But there were stretches where Atletico already had the game won, and Griezmann was helping out in defense. In a way that other stars don't do, not even with 0-0. Risking it all, like, for example, Manchester City did today, and Antoine Griezmann shows a capacity for defensive efforts. In a context like today, well, I'm not going to say it was a walk in the park, but with it being 0-2 already, the thing was pretty much done. And it's worth appreciating a star like. Does that kind of work? We could say that the man of the match has been Julian Simeone. In the 4th minute, he got from Julian Alvarez Samulino. The Salzburg defense cleared poorly. A ball that was going to Samulino. The Salzburg defense cleared it poorly, The midfield hasn't been alive. Julian Alvarez picked up the rebound and passed it to Juliano Simeone. Giuliano Simeone shot. And he said, "Gentlemen, if there were any doubts that we wouldn't be able to take the 3 points to climb into that top 8. Cleared already, minute 401. But then a little later in the 13th minute, at a time when Atletico was in a mistake by Koke that gives Salzburg a chance, to make it 11, they go on the counter. Giuliano Simeone fights for it. The Salzburg goalkeeper goes for the grapes. And after having dodged the Salzburg goalkeeper, he gives a pass for Antoine Griezmann to push it in, which was going to be 0-2. From there, what I'm telling you is that they started to believe a little more. Salzburg, Atletico has pulled back more. Atletico was creating danger on the counterattacks, and especially once they positioned themselves in the opponent's half on the right. With that partnership, Giuliano Llorente de Paul, who are at an extraordinary level, the fifth Colchonero. And then, well, they let him take more possession of the ball. Salzburg, but without really posing much danger. The referee added one. And Griezmann said in that added minute of the first half, well, look, I'll make third one. He has taken the ball. He also shot crosswise from the left foot towards the left side of Slager's goal. He scored the 3-0, and that was just 10 seconds before the referee. Taylor English referee blew whistle halftime. He has sealed the match. In the second half, El Cholo made 2 changes. Correa has come in, Sorlos has come in, he has given Juliano Alvarez a rest. He has given Giuliano a rest, okay? And on another counter, Marcos Llorente, who we have here later. He also scored the 4-0. And at that point, well, there was no more story to tell. It hasn't been the most exciting match of our lives, but it has helped to see other things like, for example, Azpilicueta's level, who is a player that hasn't been a regular starter. Today, he came in for Javi Galan. That's what I'm telling you. He wasn't really playing as a pure fullback, nor was he a center back. He was fluctuating between those roles, between that 4-4-2 and that 3-5-2. Atlético de Madrid, and there. Azpilicueta's role has been very good. Another one who returned to the starting lineup is the captain, Koke, who had a good game. Focusing more, except for that mistake that could have made it 1-1, he was more focused on containment and giving more freedom to De Paul. And the truth is that the only thing that can be salvaged, the goal from Salzburg, is from this 19-year-old kid, Dagim, with a pass from Slager. There had already been a warning in the first half. Lega, he kicked a long ball with his foot, but it was well directed to Dagim. And this one with a left-footed shot. He has gotten past black to make it at least 4-1. With all this, Atletico, well, Salzburg was already eliminated. I think it was, if not, one of the first teams to be eliminated in this new format of the Champions. And Atletico, look, they're 5th, which isn't bad at all, 5th, because in the end, Arsenal came back against Girona, and they stay in 5th place. 6th is Leverkusen, 7th is Lille, 8th, Antoine Villa, Atalanta, Antoine Villa. And then Atalanta, Dortmund, Real Madrid, Bayern, Maldini, who lost to Dinamo Zagreb, PSV, Paris. Saint Griezmann has slipped to 15th when it seemed like it was going to be tough for him last week. They were actually down 0-2 against City. Benfica, Monaco, Brest, Feyenoord, Juventus, Celtic, Manchester City, Sporting, and Bruges. The rest, let's stay here with Dinamo, as the victory didn't help them. They have the same points, but the victory against Maldini does not help them. Stuttgart, Shakhtar, Bologna, and more teams that are already eliminated. And we'll start reviewing that tomorrow on the channel in Mundo Maldini. And also from Friday, when the draw for the round of 16 will take place. With this, Atletico finishes a great first phase of the Champions League. Now we need to see what matchups they get in the round of 16. Well, first we have to see the round of 32. But can Simeone's team be happy with this Champions League? Let's remember that there have been some editions of the Champions where they suffered a lot in the group stage. It hasn't been like that in this one, that we can say that they faced Bayer Leverkusen, but they also faced Prague. So it hasn't been the most challenging, but they've done their job and finished 5th. This has been Salzburg, 1, Atletico 4. The good part of the Champions League is starting, and we'll experience it here in Mundo Maldini. Bye. Bye.